Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to Take 5 Porch Signs and Decor and More YouTube collab. This is what we're going to be painting. I'm going to turn you guys around and we're going to get started. Thank you to our hosts, Funky Junk Inspiration and Jeannie's Palette. So, I have my Beehive Woodcutout. I have about a 1-inch flat brush that I'm just going to dip in a little bit of water. I usually don't wet my brush first, but when the fibers are a little wonky and I haven't thrown my brush out yet, I will dip it in a water, dry it off just to get my fibers on my hair, just to get the fibers on my brush nice and neat. I have out 2 different yellows here. I have like a golden yellow and a bright yellow, and I'm going to load my brush with both. Can you tell the difference? One's a little translucent, one's a little thicker, and I'm just going to keep loading my brush with both. Okay, then I'm going to come to my hive, and I'm just going to start painting. And I'm going to paint my strokes with a curve. When I run out of paint, I'm going to come back and I'll pick up more paint, and I'm going to paint my strokes with a curve. Up here's a little bit, what do you call it, unsanded, so I get into the grooves a little bit. And I'm just going to keep painting in my base coat with these 2 different yellows. I don't want to overmix because I want to see the light and the dark. And I'm just curving these strokes in. It helps to make the illusion that our hive is a little rounded. And I'm just going to keep filling my brush and going back. When I get down to the bottom where there's supposed to be like the beehive entrance, I'm just going to keep going because we're going to paint that black, and we can paint right over that. I'm not sure if this is going to need 2 coats or not. It might. Yellows, oranges, some reds tend to be a little translucent. I could have added a little white to this, or I could have base coated it white. That would have helped. But whether I do 2 coats or I base coat white, same difference, I feel like, anyway. So I'm just going to keep going and fill in the whole thing. I may paint my edges. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I know what I can do. I may paint my edges with a really fun pattern. I think that's what I'm going to do. But for now, I'm not going to paint them. So I can attempt to maybe not get paint all over my fingers when I hold the edge of my piece of wood here with my other hand. I can be quite the messy painter. Make sure I get in all the nooks and crannies. Okay. Now I want a little bit more contrast to my hive. So I'm going to hit this with my dryer. I'm going to come back with more of the gold paint. Okay, so now I'm just going to use the gold, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try and define or add in a couple of little sections that are just darker. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick that up on your screens. I can see it here in person. I don't know if you can. It's just a slight little contrast. And I'm almost making it striped. So like every other section or in between where they meet, I'm going in with this gold paint, or this golder paint. This is actually moon yellow, and I'm painting it in a little bit darker and not as bright. I think I like that. This one's a little crooked, I can see. So let's add a little bit up here. That's better. They're a little lacking on the left. Maybe it's the way I'm doing my arm. Okay. And then up top. I'm just going to get out the the light yellow, and I'm just going to go back a little bit. Not full coverage, but I'm just going to add in this light yellow in between. So this is going to give us tons of variations of our yellow and give our hive a nice stripy look. Nice background here. Okay. And there we go. I'll let that dry a little bit. I'm going to wash my brush. Next thing I want to do is grab a pencil, and I could trace this. I think I want it about this high. I'm just going to draw in my opening, and I'm going to try and make it as even, Steven as possible, and I think I did a pretty good job. 'Tis the season, right? The bees are out. They're doing their business. They're working on spreading the pollen, helping things bloom. It's a beautiful day here today, and I love being part of these collaborations and the Take 5 group. Lots of support in this group for other women and other small business creatives, and I love that. I love when we can support each other. I'm just taking the black paint now and filling in the hive opening. I don't mind that I picked up a little bit of yellow because that's just the base coat for that anyway. Okay. Put that on there. Get that little piece out of there. See, it doesn't matter what I do. I still get paint all over my hands. And I'm going to go to my liner brush, and I'm just going to start adding in a little bit of a whimsy kind of outline. Very light touch. Wouldn't this look cute on your porch? Bees have been very popular for a while now. Bees, and you know what else is popular? Lemons. Love lemons. And there it goes. I put a little bit of an outline around there. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of a line in here where we're going to separate our sections. This is it's just a wispy line. I'm not pulling it right across. If you see, I'm just a couple of little strokes at a time. I don't want it too thick or too heavy. Jump across the opening. Okay. And that might be good. I don't know. Should I add another one down here? Maybe I will. Just add another little one down here. Okay. Wispy little lines going right across. That one's a little crooked, but I don't care. I'm just going to let it go because we still have some bees to add. I'm just going to put out a little bit of white paint now. Grab my liner brush again. I'm going to add a little bit of detail to the door. Same way we added to the outside. There we go. And then I like to sometimes come up here and add a little bit of white where I did my black. Not too much. Very light. Very light. So I have all my outlines, my little details in there. I've done the door. And now I'm going to rinse my brush. And I'm going to get... I guess I'm going to use my bright yellow. I'm going to mix it a little bit. My bright yellow with a little bit of this gold. I want it a little bit darker. I want it to contrast. Get a little bit of brown too. I want my bees to contrast against my background. Okay. I picked up a little bit of brown. I mixed my golden yellow, my bright yellow, and I added a tiny, 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 tiny bit of brown to it. Okay, I'm going to fix my brush. And I'm going to paint my bees. So there's the body of one bee. I'm going to have to go over it. Body of one bee. There's my second bee. And then this one, we'll do right there. My third bee. Okay. I take the back of my brush and I'm going to give all my bees a little head. When I have to draw a circle or paint a circle, I like to use the back of the brush. I feel like I have more control over it when I have to draw a little circle than when I'm using the bristles, and a bristle couldn't get away from you and go, get a mind of its own and go boinging out. And then you have to fix it and you have a crappy circle. This way, when it's just a small circle and I'm using the back of the brush, I have way more control over it. Okay, my brush. And then I'm going to go back to my liner brush. I'm going to start with this guy here. And I'm going to start at the tail end and give a stinger. And then I'm just going to add in some of the fuzzy little lines that our bee has. I used to love painting bumblebees. It's been a while. Sometimes I feel like painting, or maybe it's just me, is like cooking. You'll have a favorite recipe and you'll make it and you'll make it and you'll make it. And then for some reason, it falls off the radar. And you're like, oh my gosh, remember when I used to make that, whatever it was, turkey meatloaf? And now I haven't made it in such a long time. I feel like that's what happens with painting too. The seasons change. I'll fix that. The seasons change. You stop painting something. The season comes back. And for some reason, you're now painting something else. And then before you know it, you forget how much you used to love painting bumblebees and lemons. Right? Or you flip back through your YouTube channel and you're like, oh yeah, I remember painting that. But if I didn't see it, I wouldn't even know it existed. Right, now I'm just going to give our little bees some of those fun little trail lines where they're flying and buzzing through the air. There you go. I'll rinse my brush. And I'm going to go back to the same brush I used to make my little bee body. Get it nice and dry. I don't really like this brush. Do I have a nicer one? Yes, this one. And I'm going to just pick up some white paint. Pick up some white paint. And then I'm going to pick up a tiny little black on one side of my brush. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to give our bees some wings. So there's one, two, gotta fix that black a little bit. One, two. So there's one bee. Come over here, get a little bit more black. Sometimes I have to go over my strokes a little bit because this wood is a little bit rough. So I'm trying to make sure that I get the paint in all the grooves. When I go back to get more paint, I'm not always picking up more black. I am picking up more white, but I'm not always picking up more black because I only want a little bit of gray, a little shadow on the edge of the wings so they stand out a little bit. So I'm being very sparing with the black. I just picked up fresh black, that's why there. And a lot more generous with the white. This is such a cute project. If you wanted to get those little 3D felt bees from online, you could. Or little wooden 3D cutout bees, you could. I'm just going to take the edge and go get this brush here. And this is totally up to you. You can paint the edge one color. You can not paint the edge. You can paint the edge the design. I'm going to paint it now. It's totally up to you. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make a little bit of a design. So I'll show you in the little grooves here. Then when we get up here, I kind of have to just judge it. There's no measuring going on here, you guys. No measuring. If you want to get out a ruler and measure, you can go right ahead. I'm not. Oh, I do have to fix that little black mark I got down there by that one bee. I'm just picking up a little bit of black. And I'm coming in here and I'm just doing a little bit of black on every hump, curve, corner, whatever you want to call it. I guess I can do the bottom as well. So I'll put one in the middle, and then I'll put one here, and that's good. I'm going to wash my brush. Okay, I'm going to go to my yellow, and now in between all the black, I'm going to add some yellow. And I'm just making a pattern around my entire door hanger here, or porch hanger, or porch decor, whatever you want to call it. I'm just basically using the width of the brush and making, now I'm going to get that, need a little bit of gold. Because that's black, I'm going to have to go over that a couple times, but that'll work. I'll be able to fix it. You won't even know that was there. And just every other spot, I'm hitting with some gold. And now I'm going to go back and fill in pretty much the rest with this white. And the white, I had the yellow on my brush, so the white is not white, but that's okay. It actually looks pretty cool. And in between, where I did the yellow and the black, going in, and I'm adding, can you see? Try not to make a mess. This white. Let's see. That's a big one. That's a big one. Nothing perfect about it, you guys. Don't fret about it not being perfect. I mean, if you want it to be perfect, you can get out your measuring tape, your ruler, piece of string, whatever, and figure it out. I don't do that. But from the side now, if this is hanging on the wall, this is going to look really cute. Can you see that? Look how cute that is. But that is it. Isn't that cute? Let me turn you guys around and I can show you. And here is a little porch sign decor for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.